Prosecutors in Chile have scrapped a controversial agreement made with the Catholic Church there following outrage from sex abuse victims. The latest development in a country where Catholic bishops are under serious scrutiny for their handling of the clerical sex abuse cases over the last 50 years. National correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, Christopher White, joins us now with more details. Christopher, how exactly did this deal come about and what do they hope to accomplish with it?
Well, Michelle, let's remember 2 years ago, Pope Francis went to Chile and the sexual abuse crisis there sort of erupted on the global scene and took center stage. And one of the outcomes of this is that the national prosecutor, Jorge Abbott, reached a deal with the secretary of the Chilean Bishops' Conference, and which would have effectively allowed victims to come forward directly to the church rather than the prosecutor's office themselves. So that was sort of the structure of the deal.
And what makes the cancellation seen as controversial then?
Well, what happened was a lot of sex abuse survivors said, look, by going directly to the church rather than the state, it almost gives the church an out, and it takes away that level of accountability that we've been fighting for. So it was really the voice of the sex abuse survivors that pushed back hard on this, and the prosecutor's office took a lot of heat for this, and eventually he pulled out and said, okay, we've got to start from scratch again and go back to the drawing board.
So like you said, in recent years since that papal trip, Chile has really been ground zero for the Catholic Church's sex abuse crisis. What's the state of things there now, and what are the wider implications for the global church?
Well, just this week, a victim's advocate said that, every week we have about 2 new victims that come forward. So because of this sort of unmasking of years and years of cover-up, a number of victims are coming forward. About 9 bishops are still being investigated. Let's remember last spring, all of the Chilean bishops went to Rome and resigned en masse, and the Vatican continues to look through these cases. That being said, Pope Francis just appointed Celestino Alce as the new Archbishop of Chile. He's a temporary sort of a placeholder until they find a more permanent one. But he's vowed, to continue the reform efforts, but it's still a church that is wounded and healing, although reform is underway.
What do you see as next for Chile then?
Well, I think Alce is going to have to continue to clean house, and they're probably going to go through a number of painful years where more resignations await.
All right, Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks, Michelle.